It's Jess the Sky Kid. It's Thursday night. We're at the B&B. I have a Knight of the Round Table next to me.
As always, the charming me.
Who's always covered by the cat. And
points.
on the phone with us this evening is James Shaw from Canada.
Hey.
Hello.
It's true.
Hello, James. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
So, quick introduction. Tell us where you are and what time is it?
It is 9 p.m. I'm in Ontario, Canada. I'm about an hour and 15 minutes out of Toronto and hiding out in cottage country. And it's pretty nice out here.
So a little bit about who you are, because we have just you on the show. You've kind of, matured from playing in a whole bunch of bands and have consolidated your musicianship down into singer-songwriter. So tell us about that journey. How did you go from I'm performing with groups to I'm going to make this transition to being solo?
Okay. I don't know if it would be maturing, but I guess I started songwriting in my early 20s, maybe late teens, and then with very basic guitar skills that haven't improved that much. And in 2010, formed my first band. There was another ska punk band that was they were looking for a new lead singer. And I said, well, I actually write songs as well. Why don't we start fresh? So that's what we did. And that was High Top Society. And I wasn't the main songwriter, though. The lead guitarist was Ryan Lowe. And we had that band for about 5 years. And we only put out one EP, but we played a bunch of shows. And then when that one kind of disbanded, band members were having kids and moving on and stuff like that. I wasn't quite done, and our bass player, who wasn't our original bass player, but Sean Lloyd, he was down to continue on as well. So we started our next band, which was Lukio, and we did that for about 3 years. Put out a EP, and once people started moving on from that, because we've never been like full-time touring band. It's more been like we all work full-time and do about 10 plus gigs a year around Ontario and Quebec and stuff like that. So that one was kind of just starting to disband, and I didn't really want to bring more people in, bring them up to speed. So instead, I decided to change course and kind of coming from ska punk, I always wanted to do more of a traditional ska type of thing, and and was never really able to find friends or musicians that were so into that. So I decided that I wanted to work with a producer and try to get that sound that I wanted. So that's kind of how that all started, and we just started working on it last year.
So when you sent us music, I was playing.
Yeah.
So just so you know,
Mm-hmm.
I've mentioned it a few times in these videos, but every day since the whole work from home COVID pandemic thing has happened, I work in foster care, and so every day I send all of our providers throughout the county of Racine an email, a daily email with a fun fact, just kind of a motivational, uplifting thing with a song of the day and a workout video. So I've been incorporating people who have sent me music into those daily emails. So today you were the song of the day. And as I was playing that, my daughter was lurking in the background, and she's like, "He's really good, Mom." So you have a fan base with ages 8 through 11. So that you know.
And no one thought you could crack that age group, but here we are.
You got it. And she's a musician as well. So,
Awesome.
She listens to music with a musician's ear, and so you've hit that traditional sound I think that you were going for. And I like and appreciate that. So you have kind of just recently started on this as far as releasing this EP and then doing the videos. Tell us a little bit about length of time as far as, from creation to production to release. How long has this taken you? And kind of like, what's your inspiration, and how has this worked as far as COVID has impacted us? 3-part question.
Yeah, that's a lot of questions. But we'll fill up this hour very quick.
I'm sorry.
Well, for me, okay, what was the first question?
Review the tape. So I'll break it down. So let's start with from creation to production and release. How long has that taken you?
Okay. Well, if you're looking at when I wrote the song or when I wrote the lyrics, it could go a lot of different ways, because some of these songs I wrote the lyrics when I was like 19, and then and some of them have gone through the ringer of being played at live shows with both of the bands that I fronted, and obviously different musicians bring different sounds. We never ended up recording any of them. Lots of demos were made, but I was never really satisfied, I guess. And so in that sense, some of the songs have been around or been in process for quite a long time. And then let's say let's go with Whiskey Devils. That was the first song that Mitch Girio, my producer, that he wanted to kind of like work on and see if we were on the same page. And so that song, I wrote those lyrics, like I said, when I was pretty young. And then I had my friend Alex McLaren. Him and I tried to write a song out of it, and he was a really good musician. And then that didn't go anywhere. And then years later, in High Top Society, my lead guitarist Ryan Lowe, he wrote a song that he put those lyrics to it, and that was like a ska-core song. It was like really heavy, like mosh pits would go insane during it. And then that kind of got shelved and then was on the back burner. So the lyrics had been sitting around for quite a while. And then I was playing around with a chord progression that was loosely based or inspired by Linoleum by NoFX. And I started singing those lyrics, and I really liked the melody that I was finding within them. So I kept working on that. And that was just last year. That wasn't even that long ago. And then, so Mitch really liked it. And kind of for the process for this album, what we did was I recorded a bunch of demos, like acoustic, just me and acoustic, and 2 click tracks. It was on time. And then I sent them to Mitch. And what we started doing was we started layering on top of it. Like he gave me an idea of, he's like, is this the sound that you want? And he put, for that one song, just put drums, put keys, put everything you'd want on it. And he's like, is this kind of what you want? And I'm just like, yes, that's amazing. Like, how did you do that so quick? Like in one day.
Wow.
So, yeah. So he's like, all right, now, so we got the other songs, and we needed players. And Jason Walker, he's a Toronto musician. He's a drummer. He's in the band Brave Young Soul. And early last year, or actually it was probably more in like April, but I opened for my girlfriend at an album release. It was Jen Fiorentino. She had an album release, Survive, and I did like a ska acoustic opening set. And after my set, Jason Walker walked up and he was just like, I want to drum for you. And I just kind of like laughed it off, not really knowing how he was as a drummer, not knowing him that well. And then my girlfriend was just like, he's really good. So when it came time to bring in a drummer, I started talking with him and realized how much he liked reggae and ska and stuff. And so we started going to the rehearsal factory in Toronto and started working out parts, and it was just too easy. He's so good. So there was no brainer there. We recorded all his drum parts, and then Mitch, my producer, he ended up doing kind of just placeholder, putting bass lines in. But the thing is that like he's from like as far back as King Apparatus, and he's been a producer and songwriter and musician all this time. And so when he laid down the bass lines that were placeholders, I was just blown away with how cool they were, how mature they were. There was just something about it. They weren't exactly what I wanted, but they were like something that I hadn't heard yet. And I was really excited about that. So I had some other bass players that were interested in playing on the new project, but I was just like, Mitch, no, let's work out these parts. So him and I sat down, and I was like, instead of this here and this here, and I kind of just like mouthed out what I wanted, or kind of said, could it descend here or whatever, and he just knew exactly what I wanted and just killed it. So that was kind of like the core of the songs were done, and it was recorded right on top of my acoustic demos.
Wonderful. So then, how you never answered? How long did that take? God damn it!
Well, for recording, we started. I'd say we started in April of last year.
Okay.
And then I just released everything at the start of June.
So
this year.
So did it take that long to finesse it to exactly the way you wanted it?
Every little bit that Mitch would do, or we'd record and we'd add to it, Mitch would mix it in, and then he would see what I liked or what I didn't like, and then I would say, I don't like this, let's take this out, or I want to hear more of this, and so there was a lot of back and forth between Mitch and I.
Okay.
And then he would give me his 2 cents as well, but not that often. A lot of the time he was just like, I'm just here to get you the sound that you want, not necessarily to give you advice on what should be played or whatnot.
Right. So then what led to, I mean, if it took that long to at least release these songs, you had a very quick turnaround time in regards to the videos you've been releasing, because those just came out. So then were those in the works at the same time, or once you got your final product, you were like, okay, now it's time to really hammer down and work on the videos? Tell us about those.
Okay. So what happened was in mid-March, I moved. And so those songs ended up getting finished and mastered. And talking about like COVID and stuff like that, like we were still recording during self-isolation, like the thick of it there. My girlfriend and I were recording parts in our apartment for it, and it was still getting mixed and stuff. But by the time I moved in mid-March of this year, everything was done, but my mind wasn't right on that, because there was a lot to do with the whole moving and everything, right? Mm-hmm. So what happened was Jen, my girlfriend, she bought these new monitors for our TV, and I decided to play the new masters through them. And when I played the new masters through them, it just got me super excited. I was like, all right, I need to get these songs out. I need to get some videos. I need more content. I need to get everything rolling here. So there's a photographer friend of mine, Hector. I met him, I think I either met him at one of our shows, or it might have been a Slacker show or something like that, but it was years ago, but him and I just kind of became online friends. And he's a graphic designer by trade, but he's an amazing photographer. Like he does wildlife, like birds and stuff like that, and he just has an amazing eye for it. So I just kind of, I had some ideas of what I wanted to do for a video. I was like, I just want to keep it simple and do it kind of like a series. My producer was saying that you should try to lean towards a lyric video type of thing, because the music is big in Central America, so they want to be able to read along as well. So I asked Hector, I was like, I know this isn't really your thing, you're more of like a photographer and stuff, but I have these ideas, and you have the camera and stuff, and you have the eye for it. Would you want to come out and shoot these 4 music videos? And he said, are you available Sunday? I was like, yes, let's do it. Yeah. So he came out, and he just asked that I cover his gas and whatnot, and he came out for the day. I think we hammered off each video within an hour, and then we had a barbecue, and it was a great time, and he's like, all right, invite me back.
So what you're saying is you haven't been social distancing. In fact, you've been very busy at making music.
But we kept our distance.
But how has that been as far as closures and kind of readjusting to distancing and having limited hours for certain things? Like, how has COVID impacted your ability to play, make, and release music?
So there's definitely I'm definitely not playing any shows. I'm not going to shows. There are no shows. So, but in the same sense, my focus wasn't there. My focus was on recording and making the music and getting it out. So, and this was even before all of COVID. This was at the tail end of my last band. For like the last year of it, I wanted to get back in the studio. I wanted to record, and other band members didn't want to put money towards it, so we were playing lots of shows to raise the money for it, and then they ended up just wanting to leave anyway, and it was just like, it was kind of like I was spinning my wheels a little bit there, and I was just like, I kind of wanted to, instead of compromising for people that are going to end up having a change of heart anyway, because it's not like there's any like money in what we're doing, it's more you got to do it because you love it.
Yeah.
And once they're not into it anymore, they want to focus on something else and they move on, then I kind of get left to start over again. So I was like, I kind of wanted to lean towards something that it was a little bit more, I'm a little bit more in control over it. And if shows start back up again, and I'd say I even want to just go play an acoustic show, that I can.
So let's talk about that a little bit. So now, are you hitting enter a whole bunch of times?
I think I was playing with a pen.
Oh, I hear this like click, 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 click. So with playing out and that sort of thing, looking towards the future, okay, hypothetically, things open up and you're allowed to start booking again. Mm-hmm. Will you primarily be acoustic, just you, or will you seek out people who wanted to play with you, who helped with your tracks, and do kind of a live, like session musician sort of ensemble?
Yeah, I think it would be more about what's needed type of thing. So if I'm able to do the full band thing, obviously the musicians that played on these songs are interested and they want to play live and whatnot, then absolutely. And then any money we make off that, I just kind of split between all the musicians. But also I'm into stripping it down as well. So go both ways, kind of more what's needed, what's called upon, and kind of just like I'm very open to whichever way it goes.
So what is the music scene like in Canada? And specifically, I guess, Canada is huge. I think people, they look at an atlas and they're like, okay, and there's actual provinces of Canada, and they're giant, most of which are just wildlife and the woods. But we've interviewed, the Pacific Sounds and another band out of Vancouver. And from Vancouver to Toronto is almost a full day, like 24 hours of travel. So, like, as far as Toronto, Quebec, where you said that you're playing around, what is the music scene like? And, prior to COVID, how many shows were you playing out? And what did that kind of look like? Were you able to easily book?
So for me, I was pretty much, like the bands that I was in, we were pretty much doing somewhere around like 10 shows a year. So it wasn't like a full-time touring basis. We were playing in not just Toronto, but there's many cities that are surrounding Toronto, GTA. Within a couple of hours of Toronto, there are lots of cities, and they each have their own little live music scene. Okay. So, and then same in Quebec. Quebec has a little bit more of like the ska and punk scene going. like with Montreal, they have like Stomp Records and the Plant Smashers, and there's lots of awesome bands. Came in the 45s and Danny Rebel and the KGB. There's like lots of really, really talented people within Montreal. So there's a little bit more of a live music. There's a little bit, they nourish the arts a little bit more there. I find in Toronto we have some venues. You're looking at like a couple hundred people, and if you're putting on a ska show, then it's going to get pretty packed, and you just put on the local bands that are playing that style of music, and everyone comes out and dances, and it's a good time. And then when bigger bands are coming through that are within those genres, then the locals normally get a chance to open.
James, do you also know how to speak French then?
I do not.
Oh.
Yes.
Does that make that difficult trying to book in a city that is a francophone, language, or are they very open to we speak English because we know not everybody speaks French?
They're open. I've never reached out to get a show. It's more I've been called upon to play shows. It's more like, say, someone from Montreal or whatever has come and seen a show closer to where I live, and they want to get me on a show there, type of thing. So they are very open, but but I've also noticed that the fans that really enjoy the show aren't shy to say, learn some French when you come back.
Bonjour, ça va bien, merci et toi. However, Quebec French is dirty French. That's not right French. People from France argue that a lot. So I have friends that are from France that are like, people in Quebec, they almost speak Ebonics French, and it's like, ooh, okay. Not to start a war across any seas or anything. I wanted to ask, so there is a brewery called Collective Arts.
Yes.
Are you familiar?
I am.
Oh, have you?
They're great.
Dude, they're awesome. But they have a music festival every year that I've learned about.
Ooh.
And I was curious if you knew about this as well, because when we started the show, we at the same time kind of also started discovering that brewery. And when I read their description, they do exactly what we do. They started off as an underground thing that became larger, and they support underground and unsigned musicians as well as artists. So I wanted to know, since that's in your neck of the woods, if that's something that you've tried to get into.
That's awesome. I actually haven't. I've enjoyed plenty of their beers, but I did not know that much information about them, or I didn't know about the festival either. There's lots of beer festivals and craft beer things around here, which is great. I've gone to enjoy them. I haven't performed at any of them though. I did perform at one in Uxbridge, Ontario.
Nice. So how far away are you from the United States, to give people perspective?
I think I looked to see how far I was away from you.
You're a long ways from us.
And I think it was like 10 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me to get to say the border crossing at Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
That's not. I'm going actually to Niagara on the Lake this weekend.
Neat.
Yeah. There's a record store there. I'm going to screw it up, so I'm not going to try. But there's a record store there that they press records in the punk rock genre, and they also make their own whiskey.
Ooh.
Yeah. And they're about to press all of the Strike Anywhere records, which is pretty cool.
Nice. Are you going just as vacation? Or are you going as here I want to push my music? Or are you going to mix business?
No. My girlfriend and I we were just going to go there and to go to a vineyard to get some alcohol.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I hope you have a wonderful weekend. That would be fun.
It's more like probably one night, but still.
Whatever, that's still nice.
Yeah.
So, with your music and this release of your EP, tell people about that. Like, you sent me a bunch of links. Talk to people about what this EP is, how many songs, where they can find it, that sort of thing.
All right. This EP is called Go Rude Boy Go. I got the lyrics out of the bridge of the first song, Pure Soul. Actually, once again, it was my producer who's like, Go Rude Boy Go. It sounds like a bumper sticker.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah.
Go Rude Boy, go Rude Boy, go.
So, Go Rude Boy Go. It's 4 songs. I have tons of songs that I want to do, but we thought it would be good to start with 4, put them out there, see how they're received. If it's worth doing more, obviously I'm still going to do more anyway, even if people don't like it, but it is being well received, so that's great.
I was going to say it's been super well received because I heard about you, if we want to backtrack, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
no, go ahead.
I got a message from Danny from the Classy Rex, and he's like, you need to meet James. Then you messaged me, because he sent me, he's like, oh, he's going to be releasing this, blah, 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 check this out. Then you messaged me, and I was like, oh, direct from the source. I'm going to just listen to this. And then I started seeing all over, like, Chris from the Pandemics, who puts together all of those, I think it's like playlists. You were top on there. Tazzy had you on his. Josh from Viva Ska Radio had you on his. Like, all of these people started. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, did Google just go, oh, algorithm? But that's how you want to play it. So metadata is working for you, 1. And 2, it's been super well received because I went from hearing from, like, a second party source, like, you should meet this guy, to you're all over my feed.
Awesome.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah. So you can. I'm sorry to have cut you off.
No, it's quite all right. I guess back to the EP is it's 4 songs. There's Pure Soul, Whiskey Devils, Concrete Shoes, and Bullet Biter. All of them are kind of in the traditional ska feel, maybe the skinhead reggae, roots reggae feel. A little bit faster tempo though, and it's my favorite release that I've done in my years of pretending to be a musician, and I'm so happy with it. And I have 4 music videos. I kind of did them like a series.
Yeah.
So they're all kind of minimalistic, like 1 or 2 shots of me just singing the lyrics, and then my friend Dent, who I played in a band with as well, he's editing the lyrics and the footage together, and he's doing a great job. He's already done 3 of them, like, super quick. And so I released Pure Soul on the 15th, and then Whiskey Devils I'm releasing tomorrow, and then Concrete Shoes and Bullet Biter will be in August.
Wonderful. And
I'm just going to kind of use those releases to help continue to promote the EP and hopefully get some more people that are interested in listening to it.
So what is your goal as far as now that this has been released, and you say that you do have more music out there? Is your goal to continue to stay in studio and kind of move forward in the same light, like we're going to release an EP with 4 songs every couple months, or do you have loftier aspirations?
Closer to what you said there about as I'm releasing this, I'm already working on the next batch of demos. So I think maybe once I get a few EPs out, if there's a need for it, then maybe I'll do a vinyl pressing, because I'm a fan of records and I have a collection myself, and I like to support the music that way. And then hopefully also that live music starts up again, where you can enjoy it not just from your vehicle,
Right?
And yeah, and I like for me, it's weird because I love performing. Nothing gives me a high like performing on stage, playing a show, people enjoying themselves like that. Like there's nothing that compares to that. My focus right now isn't on that, so it's kind of good timing in that sense because my focus is on more recording and getting a good package of songs that I truly love together. But I on the other side, I really miss going to shows, like just as a fan.
Right.
Like I like we used to live. My girlfriend and I, we had an apartment in Whitby, which was a town that was along the train. Like we could hop on the train and get to Toronto in a half an hour and go to shows all night and hop on the train and go back home. It was great, and we took advantage of that as much as we could and went to so many shows, and then it's just like everything just stops. And it's like, wow.
I have to say that I'm really impressed, though, that people jumped on very quickly the bandwagon of we're going to overcome, we're going to utilize the technology we have, we're going to play virtually, and we're going to offer, like, what, for instance, Supernova has done. Phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, were we all, like, blown away by the fact we couldn't go? Yes. But were they able to turn a negative into a positive? Yes, which was awesome. But, you know, you saying that you miss going to shows and such things like that, because you are both musicians, you and the girlfriend.
Yes.
I mean, obviously you're supportive of each other, but was it conflicting ever because... Or did you balance each other's schedules where, like, she'd have a show, you'd go support, you'd have a show, she'd go support?
Yeah, it was more like that. It was, we didn't have too many conflicting dates. If she was doing, like, a Quebec tour or something like that, and I wasn't able to go with her, then there's nothing wrong with that. I would hunker down, and I'd be going to work, and she'd be on her tour.
So you play... ska, obviously.
Yes.
What does she do? Like, what is her genre?
Jen is kind of best known for her punk rock acoustic covers. She's kind of has like she has a really large fan base on through YouTube. I think she started in like 2007 or something, or 6 or something like that. And it was pretty much just a steady growth from that. So that's one thing that she does is she does those punk rock acoustic covers very well. And then she also writes her own music, which is a little bit more like acoustic driven pop punk, I guess. And which is really good as well. But we both have that love for punk and ska and reggae. Like we got matching tattoos. I got Walt Jabsco. She got Betty B. We both have that love for that kind of music and love going to shows and skanking together and stuff. So yeah.
Just so you know, we have open dates in August and September. So if you'd like her to be on the show next.
Oh, cool.
Just so you know. Cool. But you had mentioned, we'll backtrack. You're like, with people listening in their car. Do you watch Mr. Cooley Rank's Car Sessions 2035? Are you familiar with this? Do you know?
No.
Oh, well, my friend,
Yes.
Because I've picked up on the vibe, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're doing all of your own self-promotion, release.
Yeah.
You do all of it, yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
So you reach out to these people to play your music and hope that it continues to gain momentum.
Yeah.
So Cooley Ranks does a show out of his car called Car Sessions 2035. It is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 2:30 to 3:30 Eastern. That's 1:30 to 2:30 Central Time. And you should email him your music so that he can play it as well. And we have sort of connected all over the place now so that if you because you're self-promoted and you're doing this yourself, when we're not on air and shoot me a message. I will shoot you a list of human beings that you should send your stuff to.
Awesome.
And in what format, so that you know that. But do you have CDs, like hard copies of your music available?
No.
Okay.
And I apparently, like college radio is a big thing around here, and apparently they still like to get that hard copy CD. I'm not going to be pressing any CDs as of yet. I from my last bands, I have stacks of them in my closet, coasters, and right now I'm gonna focus on the digital, and then if there's a need for it, then I would like to press vinyl.
Okay, so I ask because there's been like a resurgence, and there's a few people I know of that do work at an actual radio station that you have to have the physical copy sent so that they can log it and credit you. So,
right.
I mean, have you thought about, for those instances, perhaps just burning, like going to the store, grabbing a few, CDRs and just burning some stuff to send out?
Yeah, I can totally do that. I have no problem with that. I just don't want to. Put a bunch of money into a tangible product that doesn't end up selling, because I found that a lot of people want to support and buy that tangible piece of memorabilia even, but a lot of people are just like, I don't have a CD player now. Like things have changed so much within the last 10 years that CDs are so close to obsolete.
I'm such an old lady. Do you have a CD player? I mean, like, we have a record player, we have a tape deck,
Several.
We have, what else do we have a CD player, we have tapes, we have records, we have mini disc. What else?
The only thing I don't have is an 8-track.
Yeah, we don't have an 8-track. But
wow, you guys are slacking.
Dude, but we have all the other forms to play any types of other media. Like, when people tell me that things are obsolete, I'm like, but why though? Because that's a tangible, I can hold it in my hand and it brings back a memory. Like, I still have the first 2 ever ska CDs that were given to me. Those will never be obsolete to me. Like, they hold meaning. So, but vinyl has made a giant comeback. What about tapes? How do you feel about those, James?
If you're into them, that's great.
Whoa!
I don't have a tape collection. I have my old CD collection that I have on a shelf that I don't. Unfortunately, I don't even have a CD player in my vehicle anymore.
I know, they're gone.
That was kind of the last thing. I was still buying CDs because I had one in my last car. But my truck, there isn't one. There's a USB plug-in. So yeah.
So I've borrowed or rented vehicles recently that are newer, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna bring. No, you're not gonna bring CDs. I was amazed. I stepped into this car and was like, where the fuck do the CDs go? And I did not have my charger, so Bluetooth killed my phone quick. Good thing I'm like a homing pigeon and can figure out where the fuck I'm going and can read maps. But like that, it blew my mind that isn't a thing. Kind of like cigarette lighters are no longer in vehicles either.
Yeah.
And it's like a fucking tease because the little thing is there and you pop it open. Oh, nope, just a charger hole now. Ugh. So, yeah.
Hey, you shouldn't be smoking in rentals anyway.
Hey, you shouldn't tell me how to live my life. No. I don't smoke in them. I smoke cloves, and when I do smoke them, it is outside. Because they're just so pleasing in the fall with, and I'm gonna sound super either old, obsolete, or basic, with a pumpkin spice latte. But I've learned how to make these myself, so I don't need to go to any fancy coffee shop. I can make them in my home. But I digress. I guess significantly. How about merchandise? Speaking of merchandise and things that are obsolete, merch is not. And do you have any?
I don't. I might design up some T-shirts. Maybe that will go along with maybe like the themes of each song or something. I'm not too sure yet. I've been kind of rattling some ideas in my head. Still not quite where my focus is at right now, but I'm not opposed to that because I'm a band T-shirt kind of guy myself. So,
what do you think is the best merch item?
I had a Slackers lighter that I lost, and I'm so pissed about it.
Oh no!
It was like a bottle opener / lighter.
And you lost it?
I don't know how, but yeah, eventually. At first, I wouldn't take it out of the house. It was only for sessions, like don't take it out of the house. And then I let my guard down, and eventually someone pocketed it.
So what about you? Like, as you move forward, are you just going to do T-shirts, or do you think you'll come up with something unique like that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I almost did a run of panties at one time. I was told that they sell really well.
Oh my gosh. I just feel like I don't know. They're kind of like a gimmicky sort of...
Oh, it's 100% gimmicky.
Like, I went to this tour called Sounds of the Underground a long time ago. It was not my scene. It was not my anything. We got passes because I worked at a radio station, and I went with somebody who really loved all of the stupid music that was playing there. And I was only vaguely familiar with so first I accidentally bumped into, ran, and stepped on to Odorous Ugrundus's foot from Guar. And then as I was oops, apologizing, I don't know who you are and I'm sorry, I back into the drummer for Strapping Young Lad, who's you'd look good in our panties, and I was all of this is
right.
really, really creepy. I don't want. Nope, I'm leaving here. So
that's not right.
I don't know, man. I would stick with lighters so us rebels can smoke in Reynolds.
Do you have some ideas? What are your favorite merch ideas?
So we've gotten some really cool. We've gotten bracelets before. Koozies are awesome. I would suggest a koozie. I've seen lighters. What else? Throw some ideas out there, sir. What else have we gotten?
Buttons. We've actually gotten comic books.
Oh, comic books.
Oh, cool.
Oh, what else? It goes on top of your record player. The protector thing?
Yes.
What do you call it? See? I don't know. Give me a CD, goddammit, because that comes in a jewel case.
I don't know, a record felt thing, whatever.
I'm sure there's a listener just screaming.
You don't know things. I don't claim to know everything.
Fuck it up. Okay.
So what about you? What are some really? That's Slack. Oh, sunglasses. I would love some. It could be super simple. They're black, and on the side they just say "Go Rude Boy Go." Just do that. Also, your imagery. Where do you have an artist that is helping you with that?
That's me.
It's you.
Yeah.
Okay, so what? So the only thing that isn't you is the actual recording, production of your videos. And your producer, right, who recorded, mixed, and mastered you?
There's a lot of people involved. I would say I'm a songwriter.
Okay.
On the album, I sing and play rhythm guitar, which is me doing the little chicka chickas and little skanks. And during the production of it, I was very involved on what I liked, what I wanted, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, maybe I'm just the person putting it all together. The art stuff, I draw and paint. I took a year of graphic design. I did that logo originally for my last band, and it was kind of a mix of different things. Like the outside ring is based off of the Rosetta on my signature Tim Armstrong Hellcat Fender acoustic.
Okay.
And then like the inside is I don't know if you've ever heard of sacred geometry, but it's like supposed to be like the mathematics that connects everything in the world. And then so that's like the flower of life in the background, and then the middle part that's kind of like moving out. That's just kind of like showing like growth, and I don't know. It was kind of like the thought process of.
So I'd like to go. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'd like to go back because my description or initial introduction of mature, I think, is fitting now. Yeah.
I guess I don't know. I feel like I feel like this album represents more of myself. I get like when I write songs, they're more like this.
Okay.
I've been in ska punk bands, and I've changed songs to make them more ska punk to fit the band. I have written some songs that are meant to be ska punk, but most of the songs I write are more at this pace. And so this album is more me leaning into my strengths and getting the true sound that is intended when I'm writing the song.
It sounds like just your overall tone and such. This is a way more fulfilling project for you. Like being able to do all of these things and make it sound the way you want it. Is coffee cups, another merch item.
Nice.
You know, you sound genuinely happy and satisfied with doing it this way.
I am, and it's a completely different process because when I first got into like my first band, I was green. Like I was getting on board with musicians that had been doing it for a long time and that were extremely talented. And they're saying, like, I showed up to my first band practice with my acoustic, and they're like, "Don't you have an electric?" And so like I was kind of just like thrown.
Don't you
in
have
with
a
the
CD
wolves.
player? No.
I was just kind of like thrown in with the wolves right away, and then it kind of took off where we were playing big shows and with big bands and stuff like that. But it was really like I'm backed up by a really good band, but me myself, I was just like I'm like barely holding it together here because it wasn't really me. And then I think my last band was a little bit closer of a lean to what I'm doing now, but still it went from kind of trying to get more of a traditional sound to just going straight into the ska punk again, which is fine because like live, that's a lot of fun. Like everyone's dancing and stuff and moshing and clapping. Like it's a lot of fun. I get it. And I get that the more traditional stuff isn't for everyone. Like people don't always want to play that. They might find it boring and stuff like that. But for me, that's like what I really want to play. So yeah, I'm really happy with the new album. It's 100% great.
Do you think that you'll ever go back to a full band arrangement, or will you continue to stay as just a singer-songwriter? And
I'm not too sure. I'm not so much of a plan ahead type of person.
Okay.
I'm very much in the moment. And then when I get excited about something, it gives me the energy to get stuff done.
do you think that, I mean, I know that you're not a plan ahead, you just said this, but as far as like looking ahead, would you ever consider coming and playing stateside and doing a tour? Have you done that before?
I haven't done that before. Obviously, when things are safe to do so, I would definitely be interested if there was. I would be interested in that, and I am. Within the last year, I've started up my own company as well. So I'm kind of in control of when I'm able to take time off and whatnot. Now, the only thing is that to start for that, like say I was going to come down and play a show where you guys are, that might be a solo thing first. And then when there's more of a need for it, or maybe more of an audience for it and stuff like that, more people are into what I'm putting out, then I might go as far as putting a full band arrangement and bringing them along as well.
Well,
but that's very costly as well, right?
Right. I feel like, I don't know, with your success currently with just this first EP release and this run, that you could easily pop down here as just you, pick up a band of people who want to play with you and be able to play where you want to play. So,
right.
I mean, you kind of had that. You started your own business? What? What are you doing?
I have a drywall business.
Oh.
Yeah, my father is a drywaller. He's been doing it for 45 plus years, and I worked with him for 8 years. So, along with being a musician, I was getting very good at a trade the whole time.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's nice that you have something, that will also ensure that you eat, I guess, right?
Yeah, I feel like music. Even though we get paid for shows and stuff like that, I feel like music's been more of you're paying into it a little bit more because you love it, rather than I haven't seen like a whole lot of profit from it. So it's more like I do that. I do music because I love it, and then I have my trade to. Yes, put food on the table.
So here is a wonderful analogy then. Since you both work in a trade and you are a musician and you just touched on a whole bunch of things that I harp on weekly on this goddamn show, do you think that if musicians were to reclaim the business such as a trade and market themselves in such a way, say as like someone who does drywall, cement, etc. does, that musicians would be able to reclaim the music industry and thus make it a more profitable and lucrative business as an independent contractor than what is currently happening with all of the middlemen that is the music industry?
People don't want to pay for it.
Who doesn't want to pay for it?
Well, okay, so you look at...
because here's my argument.
Yeah, go ahead.
People do want to pay for it, but the wrong people are paying for it. The musicians are paying for it, and that's fucked up. That's like you going to my house and paying me to come give me an estimate and then get paid on the tail end if I like the job you did. Maybe. Mm-hmm. Whereas it's not marketed correctly. Now, you're going out of your way as, say, this drywaller, right? To post ads and run a business and ensure that your clients are paying you, right? Your clients are paying you. They know that there is a service that you are going to provide them. Should not the music industry also be that? And that we've just become complacent with the fact that musicians feel owned by, say, venues or labels or other third-party producers that are taking their claim by saying, it's almost like a pyramid scheme. You pay me and I'll make you something, but you still have all of this distributors, this work to do on your end.
Well, like we put on shows and we would keep the price fair at like say $10 entry, and all the bands would get paid decently, but me saying a band's getting paid decently, like I'm saying local acts are getting paid $400 for like their whole band, $400 or $500 for the whole band, and that's what everyone's making. The venue's making money off of alcohol sales, which I guess some of those alcohol sales should technically go towards the bands as well, because $400 or $500 for a band is not enough.
Holy shit!
Like you're thinking like five, 6 bands,
right?
Or 5, 6 band members,
right?
Per band, and you have 3 or 4 bands on there, and you have to get there super early for sound check. Like the amount of hours that you're putting in and building up to it and stuff like that. Like it's not you're not making enough money, but it's also popularity as well. If you look at bigger bands are going to get more money.
Yeah, but they're also but they've paid their way. Do you think we should continue to pay our way? Do you pay your clients to go mud and drywall their house? No!
But
musicians should not be paying people for their work. Sorry.
But we're not paying people for our work. We're paying we're funding ourselves to be able to create our music, and then we're getting paid for our services of playing that music live.
Hold on, wait a second. Do you use a distributor? Did you pay, say, CD Baby to put your music out on places?
Yeah, it was like $75 or something.
Right, but would your client make you pay to put up a wall? No. Right. So that's my argument, is like, should we not make music a commodity again, where if we flipped this ideology, right, and we made musicians, because I get it, like, even the amount you just said to us, like, our mouths dropped.
That's
You
crazy,
get paid $400 a show. Bands are lucky to come through, say, Kenosha and
60
get
or $75.
Yeah, like the music industry, I feel, is just so corrupt by these people who have made it a slave trade. And
well, see, and me saying that much, that's for that instance, that's a venue that would hold about 150 people.
Really?
That's with me and other musicians marketing or like spreading the word about the show. Just even saying like ska show, and then people kind of come out of the woodworks, and that's like pretty much a sold out show. And then that's just like $10 at the door, and that money split between the bands.
Yeah. I mean, but that's amazing, because in perspective, just so that you know, it is super hard. Like, we have finally been fortunate enough to work with a local business here who hired us to do our show there, and she pays our bands. I don't have to pay them. I don't have to pay the venue, the sound guy, the band, like, run a door fee and then pay the bands off of that, and then see what other fees I have for marketing and other things like that. So like that, I don't know. I feel if we all join together in this fight against, you know, that's what unity is. My argument always has been, I want to see the people who do their art and their craft and their trade get paid for what it is. So that's what I will always kind of strive for. And I know that people think that I am a weirdo in that thought process, that you have to pay somehow to get ahead. But I don't think so. I mean, you would agree, as a tradesman, your clients don't make you pay them to come into their home. Stop paying to play. Got it. So.
Yeah, I definitely, I find it wrong when venues where you have to like rent the venue to be able to play it and stuff like that. That's definitely wrong.
Yeah, or like when a venue says, we're going to put it together this giant show that happens biannually, and you have to pay us to be on the bill, and then you get tickets that you get to sell at like a portion
that's
of
bullshit.
Thank you, sir.
No, when my first band started out, we went down that path, like that pay for play thing, and we definitely made a lot of people a lot of money, because it was right in that sweet spot of everyone kind of like all of our friends were just getting back from college or in college, and were coming back for summers and stuff like that. So everyone was around and able to go to shows and wanted to come out and party and stuff like that, and we're paying high ticket prices to go to these shows that we were playing, very short sets with a bunch of other bands, and we didn't make any money off of it. Like it was ridiculous how little money we made off of those. So we made some other companies a lot of money. And it's ridiculous.
So James, in closing, because we have reached the top of the hour, what will people be able to tune in and listen to in the next hour? You're going to be performing live via our event, so make sure to go to the page. The event is up. Go to the event, James Shaw Live, and watch James play. What are you going to be playing for us, James? Not just 4 songs, right?
I'm going to go through the songs. I might talk about them a little bit. I might do a couple covers or some other songs that I've written. I just kind of jammed through them the other day, and let's see how it goes. I've never done a live stream before, so fingers crossed.
Wonderful. Look at a day full of new. And then where can people find you if they've been watching and listening and want to continue to support you? Where can they find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, your best bet is to search my album on streaming sites. Go Rude Boy Go. My name is James Shaw, which is very generic, so other musicians are going to pop up, or boxers or politicians. James Shaw is just a very plain name.
But the politician is very eco-friendly, by the way, because I stumbled upon his page and I was reading his platform and I was like, I could actually vote for this guy. He loves the water, he loves the woods, he's about recycling and caring for people.
Wow, that sounds like my kind of James Shaw.
Right? Anyways, but you're on Facebook as James Shaw. You're on Instagram as the same.
On Instagram, it's at Jimmy_Shaw, Jimi for Jimmy _Ska. If you search on Facebook, Jimmy Ska Music, I think my page will pop up as well. And then my album's up on YouTube. I have my first music video up there, which is Pure Soul, and then I'll have the other 3 coming up shortly.
Wonderful. And you're on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music.
I want to make sure that I was on all the platforms so that if someone was interested, they could just click it and listen to it.
Wonderful. Well, sir, we're going to let you go so that you can get set up and do that. It's been such a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a great time, and be interested in coming on and chatting about stuff again.
Wonderful. And when it's safe and you do decide to ever make it this way and set something up, we would be able to help you set up a tour. So
thank you.
That's kind of what we do as well when we're allowed to people. So my friend, until we meet again, which will be after a short break, go ahead and get set up. We're going to let you go so you can do that. And we will see you on the second half where you'll be playing. And I'm excited to see you.
Thanks so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, James. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
Bye. Call ended. So, I'm Jess the Ska Kid. This is Kiff Points. That was James Shaw. After a short break, we will be right back. And we won't be. He will be. So
go to the event page.
The event page.
It's not happening right here.
Nope. Where it says events on the page, go to that. It'll say James Shaw Live. You'll be able to watch from that event there. I will also share it to our page. So if you're like, I don't know extra steps, you'll get there. Please stop paying to play for things, and that includes distributors, my friends. And if not, I hope I hammered home that point. We have an opportunity for change during this time of COVID, which I think has been super important for the music industry because, if nothing, it has shown us that we are able to get on our phones. We've been able to utilize technology to be able to play together and show you what it is that we do. So we started this 3 years ago. You guys can continue to do this.
We started with the shittiest fucking internet ever. You still tuned in, and you're still tuning in now.
And we love you guys, and we're going to take our break, our leave for the evening. Pay attention, watch the page. We're going to share James's video and information, and we'll be back Tuesday because we got tons of people who've been sending us stuff. So until further ado, good evening, and we'll catch you on the flip side, okay?
Thanks.
Bye.